Hello, this is Oliver, K6OLI, and I'm going to walk you through how I set up before a net for VARA FM, PinpointAPRS, and VARA Chat. Let's start our VARA FM. In this case, we started manually, as is normal for LAX Northeast stations. And we can see here, first thing I check is my settings. I go to my sound card. In this case, I've got a USB audio device checked. I'm using a Digipeating Lite tonight. You can see here, we select that, double check that that's checked. Click on close. I also check my PTT. In this case, it's a Vox device. So I make sure that's checked. If it were an RA board or a main Digirig, then I would use a COM port, or a radio, could use the CAT, but this is a Vox device, so we use Vox. And then the next thing I do is I usually ping a station. In this case, let's ping a station I know I have a good connection with, W2JCL-10, and we can click on ping. You can see that we have a good signal on both sides, and the numbers match. So just as a reminder, the numbers here on the right is how W2JCL-10 hears my station. The number on the left represent how I hear W2JCL-10. In that case, what we're going to do is, just to demonstrate, we could double check our information, right mouse click on the Windows icon, click on Run, and then bring up mmsys.cpl, the multimedia system board. And I think that's easier to adjust than other options. In that case, we can double click on the speakers, and we could adjust the output levels of our sound card. Let me show you what that would do. On the right-hand side, remember, this is how W2JCL hears my station. If I drop that down to, let's say, 20, we would expect these numbers to get worse. So let's try that. You can see the signal to noise ratio here kind of was cut in half. And the VU meter here dropped to -48 decibel from about -20. What that tells you is that your signal strength has gone down. So the way to check this, in this case, we could bring it up to 50 if we were trying out with a station we're not familiar with. We ping again that same station. And you can see it's bringing up that number here, but our signal to noise ratio has gotten a whole lot better. In my case, I probably would like to have a stronger signal going into the other station. So let's bring it up to 90. And then try again. And you can see we've got a really good signal to noise ratio now, and our VU is -30, which matches almost perfectly with the other station. Keep in mind you want to disable all enhancements and click OK. And if you want to adjust your input, generally we recommend the VU meter on your VARA FM to be kind of in this area right here. You can go into your microphone, then go onto your custom, make sure that AGC is not selected. If you have a signal link, you wouldn't see that, but quite a few devices have that. You want to make sure that's unchecked. Let me show you what happens if you do check it. Look at the VU meter. You can see how that drives the signal up quite a lot. So let's uncheck that. And then we can go to the levels. And I can change the slider. In this case, 30 gets me kind of in the target. Let's see what happens if I move it all the way to the left. You can see we're dropped down here. And if I move it all the way to the right, you can see now we have a signal that's any incoming signal would essentially sound to our sound card as if it were overdriven. So let's go back to where we wanted it. It was around 30. All right. Click OK. We're happy with these numbers. Let's assume I would try to digipeat and there's a station I know I need to get to that I don't have a direct line of sight to. Let me show you this. W6BI-10 is in Simi Valley and he's completely blocked from my location. So when I ping him, I would not expect a response. However, there are stations that can reach him usually, and I can go via those stations. In this case, K6OLI-12, and we ping via that hop. You can see it's not a great connection, but we can actually have a connection with W6BI in Simi Valley. That is valuable information. We can also try and figure out what the connection is like to K6OLI-12 by pinging that station, and so we had a signal to noise ratio of 7. And we can see we have a good connection to K6OLI-12, in this case, the gateway. And so the connection between the gateway K6OLI-12 and W6BI-10 is probably the 7 dB signal to noise. All right, so we got this set up. We feel comfortable with the way it's set up. Next, we want to bring up PinpointAPRS. Let's go through that. I have it here as a shortcut. Here are a couple of things I do with PinpointAPRS. The first thing you want to do is to set your location. This is my location right now. Let me make this a little bit larger, but I could set it to another place by holding the Shift key and pressing the left mouse key and then setting that as my position up there, right? Again, if I want to go back to where I'm located at Huntington Hospital, Shift key, left mouse click, set as my position, and that's the position that will be shown on the map. Next, we go to Tools, and we go to the Options. And in this case, we're using VARA FM, so the white N-N, as we refer to, so 1-1, 2-2, 2-1, 1-2, none of this will work. So you actually have to enter a proper gateway. We know that W2JCL-10 worked really well, so let's try that. W2JCL-10. And we adjust our symbol. We can use these arrow keys here. Or we can enter the information if I wanted to say put in --/5. Don't forget to hit enter because now it changes. Set your APRS beacon to something like 600 minutes, so it's all manual beaconing that we're doing. The next thing we want to check is our TNC. Make sure you're in network KISS mode and that your port is the same as your port in your VARA FM, in your options, in your setup. All right, in this case, I know the KISS port is 8100, and I know the KISS port is 8100 here. Can click OK. Next, we go to Tools, and we go and connect our TNC. And so what you can see here now at the bottom left, it says TNC connected. And now we can go and click on Tools, and then send a position beacon. And what you heard there, the second one, was the response by W2JCL's gateway. And you can see that down here. So K6OLI, that's me, pinged, and W2JCL was my VIA, and it returned the information. Keep that in mind when we're using VARA FM. There's no white 1-1. You have to put in an actual station. In this case, because I'm on LAX 303, I can use a gateway station. If I were in a simplex frequency, I would use K6 or W2JCL-4, for example, or peer station. All right, so let's keep this open. Next we want to do is VARA Chat. So here are the things I do with VARA Chat to make sure that it's working as I want it to. I go to my settings, go to my chat setup. I check that VARA FM is selected, that my KISS port is 8100, and that I know where I'm downloading any files that I may receive. For VARA Chat, we recommend that you just use your call sign. And we can go downloads. That looks good. I would recommend that you do not have automatically launch and close VARA TNC checked. That's not a good idea. We do all of this manually in LAX Northeast. And disconnect automatically after sending file. It's a matter of preference. If you're sending multiple files, it gets really annoying, so I have it unchecked. Definitely make sure that save log file is checked. Then click on update. And now we can test whether our system works. We can click on CQ. And you won't hear anything, but we send a CQ out. There are a couple of ways that you can test whether your connection worked. You could go, for example, to broadcast and type something fun in, like hello world. And then put in a VIA. You don't have to put in a VIA. This would be a direct connection if I sent this. Let's just demonstrate that. See that? That was direct. Let's do this again. Hello world. And now we put in a VIA, and that is your Digipeater. So because I'm on LAX 303, we can put in W2JCL-10. If I were on a simplex frequency, I could use KN6BKT-4 or any of the -4 peer stations. And then we send that broadcast message. And what you see here is it says K6OLI via W2JCL-10. That was how we sent it out. And then W2JCL-10 digipeated it right back at us. One of the cool things that you can do is you can go to the last heard window on your PinpointAPRS, check radio reports, and what you see then here is miscellaneous reports. You can see the hello world that was digipeated. That's what the asterisk here means. Digipeated via W2JCL-10. So you can actually see your own traffic and ensure that your system's working before you get on the net. All right, that was it for the setup. Hope you have a fantastic time on our nets using VARA Chat, PinpointAPRS, and VARA FM. We appreciate all of your work and your contributions, and we'll talk to you next time. 7-3, this is K6OLI.